All right. So this is an oldie but a goodie as far as presentations go, because there's so many new people, I didn't want to change it too much. But I'm Stephanie Johnson. This is my standard member in the spotlight. I'm going to talk about some personal stuff and how I got to where I am in my career with Edward Jones today, because I'm not like most Edward Jones advisors. If it will move forward. There we go. So I'm originally from the Midwest. I have those Midwestern values. I did work in the oil field initially. That is the climate that I typically worked in, where I was on the back of a boat, had to jump on a basket with my suitcase in the middle, and a crane would pick you up, swing you over the water, and drop you down on the platform or the barge that you were supposed to be on. And then I'd stay out there for any length of time, do my job, and then I'd come back off the crane, back onto the boat, go back into shore, and then I somehow managed to learn that I get incredibly seasick. So this only happened a few times. After that, I just made them take a helicopter. So that was interesting. I did go to the University of Missouri-Rolla, which is now Missouri University of Science and Technology. I got my bachelor's in petroleum engineering. Obviously, I'm not using my degree at this point in my life, but I was a petroleum engineer for 15 years. I've lived all over the US. I've worked all over the US, but the majority of my oil field career was right here in Denver, working Texas, Wyoming, Utah, Arkansas, Louisiana, you name it. Eventually, I ended up in strategic planning and corporate finance. And man, was I miserable. I hated it. It was awful. And I was giving out advice for personal finance at the water cooler. And I realized one day I really enjoyed that. And if you know a lot about certain industries like tech or the oil field, you get laid off every 2 to 3 years. That's just the cycle. I had an arrangement with my advisor that the next time I got laid off, I could come do what he was doing. And that's how I ended up here. So the opportunity arose. February of 2018, I signed a severance participation agreement that lasted 2.5 years, which is an incredibly long time. I met with my financial advisor and he said, how long do you think until you actually get laid off? I said, based on where we are with the reserve schedule and budgeting for the year, I think 8 to 9 months. He said, okay, as soon as you get the severance checks, come on in. We'll get everything the way it needs to be, and then you can apply. Well, 5 weeks later, it was April 3rd, I went into his office without an appointment, and I'm sitting there outside his office, and he comes to the door because it's in a strip mall, and he goes like this. And I was like, I got papers. Today's the day. And that was the day that I had a little bit of faith and a little bit of trust, and we applied at Edward Jones. He encouraged me to interview some other places, and I did, and it didn't feel like any place I wanted to go. This is truly a family, and they do take care of people. And I wanted something that aligned with my values. I was a self-taught investor after my divorce in 2010. I knew that nobody else was going to take care of me. So I had all of these multiple competing goals, and I didn't know what to do with them. Pay the bills on time, pay for daycare, raise a child that was an infant with downtown daycare bills that was very, very expensive, save for retirement, save for college, save for whatever might happen. And I didn't have a coach or anybody to be my accountability partner, and I really wish I did, because I made some mistakes personally early on. And everybody's goals are unique. And everybody deserves to have the financial security from saving and investing for their own goals. And so why not turn that into an investment philosophy that I can bring to the table to help other people? I didn't intend to have this be my sole source of income. I thought this was going to be a part-time gig on the side, and that's just not what happened. So who do I work with? I have been trying to get into the business owner space for quite some time. Most of you know that I got my certified exit planning advisor certification earlier this year. That is what I would like to be my bread and butter going forward. They are planning to exit their business at some point. Most of the time, they are in denial. They can put it off. It's not tangible. I'm going to work for the next 25 years. The truth is, they're going to exit their business one way or another, either by choice or on a stretcher, or through a hostile type of event like a fallout with a partner, a divorce, medical, something of that nature. They need lots of coaching as far as being emotionally prepared, but I also give them the 3 legs of the stool. It's the business leg of the stool, what happens next? The financial leg of the stool, what do you need when you exit your business to survive and maintain your lifestyle? And are you emotionally ready to exit your business? That's the hardest one. I do all of that for free. And I'm not a coach and I'm not a therapist, but I'm also there to right size their employer retirement savings plan. And then I also, of course, work with individual and couples. It seems like every time I try to work with a new business owner, I get pulled back in to the individual and couples. There's been some big changes in my office recently. So I just inherited another 100 households that I didn't have before. So for about 2 months, I'm going to be working through meeting all of those clients. So at the moment, I am not taking on new clients. But come the end of January, we will open it back up again. So who do I work with? Business strategists. I don't like the word business coaches for a very specific reason. Business strategists have clear set expectations and goals that the business owner needs to follow in order to remain a client and get their money's worth. Corporate and estate attorneys. We have to have the right documents in place for business succession. And of course, if you're selling a business or doing an employee stock ownership plan, there has to be an attorney involved in that process. Fractional CFOs. A lot of these businesses are small to medium size in revenue. They don't require full-time C-level suite officers and HR representatives, because not only can I take off the worry about right sizing the plan for the business owner, but I take care of all of the employee education for the individual employees as well, and training their HR representatives on what they need to do and when. So these are some of the ways we work together. Collaborate with your value, your acceleration coach, your CPA, your attorney to maximize the value of the business. Start envisioning the third act, especially if in your 40s, maybe even 50s. People don't have a clue as to how they want their retirement to look. Or it might be a serial business owner where they've gotten what they've wanted out of the business that they've had. They're ready to sell it, move on to buying the next business. I'm also I hold the designation for a chartered retirement plan specialist too. So that's where those two come into play. On the individual side, I love documenting and doing the trade-offs between the competing goals with different priorities and building a savings strategy. I'm here to help keep people accountable to their savings plan so that they can save enough for the goals that they want, but also to keep them from making mistakes when the market drops unexpectedly. And I look at myself as their partner for life. I'm not going anywhere. I have no intention of leaving Edward Jones, and I'm here to protect their wealth as well, and their inheritance too, if they plan to leave money to their heirs. This is our engagement photo from 2018. This is why I do what I do. For the longest time, it was just me and this little one over here on the left. That's Violet. And then suddenly I found when I left oil and gas, I inherited not only a boyfriend, but very soon after a fiance, husband, and 3 more children. That was never in my plan. Just a little thought, can you tell by looking at the photo which ones have never sat for a family photo before? They come from a very different background than I had. So they did not know what to do. They were not happy about this, and they complain about this every single year we do it. Here's the other things I like to share my time with. These are my beautiful idiots, my hunting dogs. Sig is our German short-haired pointer on the left. Jaeger is our German wide-haired pointer on the right. We have a couple of other dogs too, but these are probably my favorite and my biggest babies. So I think we're just short of 10 minutes. Any questions?